Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be doing a live stream here this evening. We're going to be talking about major winter storm Gage that been going on across the plains, even into maybe even portions of the northern Great Lakes. Now, that's basically what we're going to be talking about here. I'm going to get chat pulled up really quick. And there's something, I do have a little bit of an announcement as well. Let me go ahead and say that announcement. So the announcement is that I've recently got a new PC for Christmas, and as well, it does come with a mouse and a keyboard. And I've recently purchased a monitor today, but what I'm missing is a desk. Now, what I'm getting here is pretty powerful stuff, and it is expensive, but this should really help some of the live streams a lot. Currently, I'm using a laptop, so yeah. So expect my PCs to be set it up probably by January. I'm not 100% sure when it's going to be completed, but I'll give you guys an update on Twitter on there. So let's go ahead and get started with Winter Storm Gage. So we have a lot of freezing rain going on across portions of Kansas and Nebraska, even into portions of Colorado, which has created some major accidents on those interstate or highways in those states there. And I've seen one of those videos of a big time accident on Twitter, and it was pretty terrible. So we may have an ice storm potential. It's not going to be for a lot of people, but it's just going to be like a very sharp cutoff. We may be talking about maybe half an inch to an inch of ice. Possible. It is possible. But we're just going to see there. Again, it's going to be a pretty sharp cutoff with it, so it's going to be difficult to forecast. So let's go ahead and go to Saturday morning. Your low pressure started to get active in the southern plains. Meanwhile, in the northern plains, you're starting to get snow already and some ice. And that's going to be sticking around for a while. And by the way, this is the European model. And I want to really focus on this area here. Where I'm really focused on for highest amounts for snow will be kind of in these areas in here, where I'm predicting for some of the highest snowfall amounts. And how much snow we're talking about? I am talking about probably 1 to 2 feet in some areas. And some areas may exceed over 2 feet of snow, but we're going to see about that. Now, when this low pressure system reaches to the Midwest, it's going to get cut off. What I mean is, the low is going to be stuck in the upper Midwest and around the Great Lakes region. So if you're going to be like places like South Dakota, North Dakota, or even Minnesota or Wisconsin in northern Michigan, you're going to see snow for a couple more days. In the warm sector, however, there are small chances of severe weather across the lower Mississippi Valley, but we're not going to really talk about that much. I'll show you the SPC outlook in just a moment. As you see here, your low pressure starts to get cut off, and your cold front's pretty far out ahead of it. Now, there's also a flash flooding threat anywhere from portions of Tennessee through Kentucky and Ohio. It will eventually go from southwest to northeast. As you can tell here, very heavy rain across good portions of Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee, even stretching down to Alabama. Severe weather threat is going to be low on the system here, by the way. This is 7 a.m. on Monday. And it seems like the original low pressure was over here, and now maybe a new one tries to develop there. And you see here, it's still sticking around in those same areas. And it seems like it's going to die itself out as it reaches into Canada. Now let me show you guys the watch warning map here. So for the areas in pink here, anywhere from, if I can't draw, but for anyone that is in the pink here, even includes portions of New Mexico all the way up into Minnesota. Those are winter storm warnings they're issued. Now, if you're going to be in that winter storm warning, you're going to get quite a bit of snow, at least 8 inches of snow or 6. For the areas that are in the pink there for those winter storm warnings, in the areas in purple here, those are winter weather advisories. You could probably see snowfall amounts maybe up to 3 inches for some of those areas. But if you're in winter weather advisories on the eastern flank of the winter storm warnings, now there's a different story there. That's actually going to be ice there. You're not going to see much snow, but you'll see some ice there that can cause some, maybe even some power outages for a few slick spots there. So be careful if you're going to be traveling in the northern plains and the upper Midwest there. Now, we'll probably see more winter storm warnings or advisories could be issued for portions of Wisconsin and upper Michigan there. Now, let me show you guys those snowfall amounts here. So this is the next 3 days for snow. And you can see there, those snowfall amounts still add up for the next 5 days. And as you can see here, from the European model solution, it's a pretty widespread, at least 1 feet of snow. You can see here, some of those areas are getting close to 2 feet of snow. Anywhere from South Dakota, from North Dakota, into portions of Minnesota, and Wisconsin and upper Michigan there. So it's pretty widespread there for those folks there that live in South Dakota and for some of the other states there. Now, wind is going to be another factor as well. We'll turn on wind gusts. So let's go back to 8 a.m. on Sunday. This is when your low starts to get cut off. You got winds gusting up to 43 miles per hour, which those are some strong winds there. And it seems like they start to increase a little bit up to 50 miles per hour. Now, this is getting close to blizzard conditions here. And you can see there may be some blizzard type conditions on there. And I do believe blizzard conditions mean probably about 60 miles per hour or so, somewhere around there. And if we move down this way, you can see there's probably some gusty winds along that cold front, along the Tennessee and the lower Ohio valleys, and even for those mountains. And let's take a look to those rainfall amounts as well. You can see here, it's not really impressive, but if you go kind of high res, it's a little bit more impressive. Here's a look into the NAM for the next 60 hours, and I believe this is well underdone here for rainfall. But let's take a look into the snow. Now, it does not go completely for the event. It goes out about 5 days. As you can see here, it's showing spots up to 26 inches of snow there for portions of South Dakota. So we may be able to see some areas exceed 2 feet, which I'll say that's a pretty good possibility. Now, this is the GFS solution here. Now, some of these, it's somewhat lower, but my forecast for the max snowfall amounts is probably going to be about 25 inches of snow at max there. At least for some of those isolated areas, I can see portions of South Dakota and Minnesota could see that much snow there, especially for this area here. Not just because of the models, but it really depends where that low pressure is going to be placed there. And we'll take a look at rain again. As you can see here, the GFS, I'll say it's a little bit more accurate on this. You can see 3 inches for some areas. So generally, 2 to 3 inches of rain, pretty widespread for most of Kentucky, and maybe even to parts of Tennessee, Ohio, and Indiana. But we're not going to really go too much detail on that. let's look into some other models. Let's take a look into the CMC model on this. Let's see if we could get the eastern region here. See what that kind of gives us. Well, maybe not. Sorry if it's a little bit slow. If y'all guys got any questions, you could go in and put it in the chat. Hopefully it loads. Here, we'll take off some tabs. Usually that helps. We're done with that website. Let's go ahead and refresh it. If this here don't work, I'll go ahead and take you guys to the Store Prediction Center Outlook. And here we go. So here's the CMC model here. Oh yeah, by the way, there was some tornado warnings in New Mexico earlier. And we actually may have a tornado as well, just north of Clovis there. Just a little bit of a fun fact that happened today. But you can see there, with that ice there, that's going to be something to watch. You can see there how the CMC kind of plays this out. You got, see here, like northern Minnesota, South Dakota. I'm really seeing South Dakota getting most of the snow. You can see there how long, well, how many days you can see snow for that area. You can also see in the Tennessee Valley, in the Lower Ohio Valley, with that heavy rain there, you can see here it starts to slow down a little bit for about a day. And let's take a look into, yeah, that really sticks around there for a while. I'm pretty surprised how long that kind of sticks around. But it's dying, you know, because it's a cutoff low to the north, so it kind of dies down. But there's a big difference between cutoff lows to the south and it is north. But here's the CMC solution here. You can see there it's showing snowfall amounts potentially up to 2 feet. You can see there that little bullseye up in northern Minnesota there, which is possible. But again, with those higher amounts, it's a pretty wide spread, anywhere from 1 feet to about 18 inches of snow. There it is. And that's a lot of snow. And for the people that live in the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Nebraska, I think you guys can have a fun time in the snow. But some of you guys probably would not like the snow. There is something I also want to mention about. It's actually the northeast here. As you can see there, there's actually some snowfall amounts up to 9 inches in a couple areas there, even in like portions of Vermont and New Hampshire. I believe what's happening there's going to be a warm front passing through, and you're going to get some moisture involved. So you're going to start as the snow, you kind of turn to freezing rain, and some of those areas there may be able to stay as snow. We're going to go back into the thing here. Yeah, as you can see there, your warm front starts to get there, and it seems like it kind of stalls out a little bit. And then a new low pressure system may try to develop there, but we're going to see about that. Now, it's not the only model that's showing that. We can take a look into the GFS here and see if it's showing a very similar solution. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you guys the CMC on the rainfall amounts. I'll show you guys that in a moment. Yeah, you can see here the GFS is also kind of showing that similar solution there. And the low pressure system may try to develop there. Let's go back to the CMC, which is also known, you can call it the Canadian model as well for the CMC. Let's take a look into that rainfall amounts. As you can see there, it's actually showing a decent amount of rain, maybe even up to 4 inches of rain for some portions of Kentucky there. With these very bright purples, that's about 3 inches, and the darker purples, that's about 4 to 4.5 inches of rain there. So let's focus in, let's look into a little bit of the severe weather side of things. Now, typically when these systems here happen, you have a chance of severe weather, but it kind of depends on the dynamics of the system. You also get to focus on moisture return as well, which what moisture return can do is raise the lift-in index, bring up those CAPE values there, and those dew points there. And you can see here, there's a 2% chance for portions of New Mexico and Texas for tornado threat, and same for a wind threat, and also a hail threat along with there as well. So it's kind of a small threat. I could see a supercell chance, which we actually did have one earlier. Here's day 2 here. There's a pretty widespread marginal risk there. It actually covers all of Arkansas there. Good portion of Missouri, portions of Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee there. And for very small portions of Illinois and Kentucky there. Now, your main threats is going to be damaging winds, and there perhaps could be a small tornado threat and a hail threat due to lap rates. In day 3, it moves on to the deep south. So keep in mind that the threat is low for severe weather. You can see here it includes most of Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and Tennessee. So we could see maybe for some damaging winds and maybe for a tornado. A tornado is possible for day 3. Now we'll see what the SPC will do. Now to me, I think the severe weather threat will be pretty low, so I think we could say as a marginal risk, there could be perhaps a slight risk, but that's kind of a low-end threat for me. So yeah, guys, if y'all guys got any questions, you can put in the chat. That's kind of the end of the live stream here, and that's all I have to say about the system here. So this system's going to be lasting for the next few days here, especially for the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the Dakotas. So yeah. Now, I want to kind of talk about a little about winter. Some people, there's starting to be some changes into the winter. Now, I know we're not talking about winter as like in the title, but we I have a little bit more time to kind of talk about for some other things. Now, for the winter, I'm starting to see some changes into the winter. Models have been kind of predicting the eastern half of the United States to be getting a little bit warmer for the next couple of weeks, which is not a good thing. I believe the NAO is still negative, so it could be a pretty active jet stream still. I could see that happening. But also in the east will be above average precipitation, which for some of us, like here in Kentucky, it's not a good thing because we don't need any more rain. Even though we had the driest month on record, which was in September, with only a trace. And that was it. And that broke a lot of records, by the way. But we're still above average. And we've recently got about 3 to 4 inches of rain from past 2 events in December, which is kind of ridiculous. So we don't need any more rain. Now, what this can also tell me, there could be some increased chances of severe weather for that time frame. If we get above normal temperatures, which for around here in Kentucky, that's 40s. So with above average temperatures, it could be 50s or even 60s. And currently what we are in is a warmer pattern, which we've been seeing 60s for the past couple of days. And we're not the only ones in Kentucky. Even for the surrounding states, if you go down into the southeast, there's been temperatures in the 70s, which is pretty mild for this time of year. So what I'm also been predicting is the west to be cool, but there's a little twist to it. It's also going to be drier. So what this is kind of telling me here is we're probably going to see an act. So let me show you. And the Climate Prediction Center has been kind of talking about this. So you're on for the next 3 to 4 weeks. They have most of the west to be cooler than average here. Kind of a rough draft there. But some of these areas here, like the northwest and even a good portion of the southwest here, it's going to be drier. However, for the east here, it's going to be warmer for some of these areas right in here. But it's also going to be wet for a pretty good portion of the east here. Now, what this is kind of telling me here is that we may, so here in black here, we may have a jet stream, probably, I don't see how I'm kind of seeing this here, but it seems like the jet stream could be something like this here, but I'm not 100% sure how the west is going to be going for this here. But what this is kind of telling me here is, if the jet stream is going to be like that, with above average temperatures and above average precipitation here, that means there's going to be a lot of moisture return for some of these areas here from the Gulf. And like I said earlier in the live stream, when you get moisture return, you get Cape values to go up for severe weather, dew points go up, same thing for the Lifton index. What that could do is have the atmosphere to be unstable. You get thunderstorms, you can either get some strong storms or even severe weather here around. And with above average precipitation and above average temperatures, that tells people we're going to have a lot of moisture return, which also increases the threat for severe weather. Now, things can change from this, but where I've been predicting for the best chance of severe weather, now I've been putting this in the back of my mind for a while, and same thing into the spring here, the best chance I see for severe weather is kind of for these areas right in here. Probably not that far north. Let me go on ahead and write that. I think the best chance of severe weather for the first part of the year will probably be in the areas in red. Let me erase all that stuff there. So if you're going to be in the red here, you got to really watch for the chance of severe weather this winter and the spring. The dynamics of what the models have been showing with above normal temperatures and above normal precipitation, with the jet stream, I mean, I've seen some model runs that you got your cold air kind of in place, something like this here. And you also had above normal there, which they're pretty close to each other in here. Yeah, so I think that's just stuff that we kind of have to really keep an eye on. But I could still see chances of snow for some of these areas kind of right in here, though. There might be, at least back here, there could be. So I'm kind of afraid that some of our forecasts could be a bust, but, things could change just like that, And so far, my forecast has been doing pretty well. Around here, Kentucky, we have above average snowfall. I believe we had 2 inches of snow in November, which had made us above average right at the start. And we also been colder as well. So far we've been cold and a little bit snowy, but now we're getting a warming trend, which it does make sense, but I'm not 100% sure how long the warming trend's going to last, but I could see the eastern half of the United States to be an active pattern, but it really depends how long the warm air is going to last, because it seems like the jet stream may be a little bit wavy across the central and eastern United States. Now, we'll take a look into the GFS for the next 384 hours. We'll take a look into snow and rainfall accumulations in just a moment. But let's see how it goes kind of beyond with that system there. So what I'm seeing right now here is you got a trough in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast here. You got ridging trying to build in the central and southwestern United States. Hopefully this here can load a little bit quick. And what I'm starting to see here is there's actually a big storm actually going on across the northwest here. So this is January the 3rd. You got a cold front coming in here with that clipper system there. And not really a warm front showing up. But you also got a wave of energy coming on in here. This area here, you got a little bit of wave of energy here. So what this cold front can do here, it might be able to make a low pressure system. It's possible. Let's see here what the GFS kind of suggests with this here. Darn it. Okay, may as well not use the pen from now on. You can see there, it seems like it tries to develop a system there, but it seems like it's not that successful. But I think it could be successful. Excuse me. And now beyond 10 days here, that's kind of like people call it voodoo land. Which right now we're still under 10 days here, and you know, GFS is showing maybe a possible blizzard there or a nor'easter there. Seems like we're kind of in some models been predicting warm, some other models have been predicting kind of cold pattern, but it's going to be kind of a little bit interesting to see here. So what the GFS is kind of predicting here, you can see there over the Great Lakes region, your lake effects node machine's on, and you got kind of a little bit of a polar vortex going on here. Very cold temperatures. I did not mean to do that. Some of that cold air kind of sticks around there for a while. Now let's see how this system here has been going, because models have been kind of trending on that a little bit. Wait, it might have been some other system here. Yeah, I believe it was this one. See how the GFS has been kind of showing this system here. Yeah, just a lot of uncertainties with this here. Pretty far out. But anyways, guys, that's all for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream. If y'all did like this live stream, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit the subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you never miss an upload. If y'all guys got questions about this, you can put it in the comment section down below. Answer you guys questions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.